All right. Okay, so I think we're live now. I hope y'all can hear me. I am so embarrassed. I did not know that y'all could not hear me. And I literally just taught a whole class. Okay, okay. Let's make sure that I'm not getting feedback from YouTube. Let's see here. Okay, so I think we're good now. Okay. I'm like so embarrassed because I thought that you guys could hear me and you could not hear me at all. And I taught a whole class. So give me a moment. Let me go get my other phone so I can make sure that the sound, because I can't see YouTube for whatever strange reason. I can't see it and I can't see your comments or anything. So give me a brief second. Let me go see if I can get my other phone and see if this is actually if you can hear me. All right, one moment. Okay, so on my end, it's basically saying that you can hear me. So we're just gonna go back over this again. This information. Oh my gosh, I cannot believe I went through this whole teaching and my volume. I think I was still connected to my Bluetooth. I had just got finished working out and I was still connected to my Bluetooth. So we're gonna forgive me. I feel so embarrassed. But let's see. I'm trying to see. Give me one second. I want to just make sure that y'all can hear me before I actually dive back into this information. Okay, you can hear me. All right, all praises. All right. Y'all, this is so funny. I was thinking about earlier when I discovered that there was no sound to the first video. I was like, man, I was embarrassed, but I don't really need to be embarrassed, to be honest. I've been on national TV several times and I've made so many mistakes just on national TV. I'm like, okay, Karen, it's all good. It's technology. Like it's not like don't trip. So, y'all, we're gonna get started again. I taught a whole class and y'all didn't even hear me. So hopefully I can remember everything that I was saying. So I hope everyone has had a wonderful weekend and they are starting their week off right and on a positive note, on a high vibration, on a high frequency. I wanted to just go over the surplus funds business for those that may not be familiar with it or if it's new or if you're just someone that's kind of been diving into the information and you just still haven't put your foot into the game to really take off and be successful in this business. So I'm trying to, yeah, because I could not believe I did that. So I want to go over this information with you, and please just feel free to take notes, leave comments in the comment area. Again, I can't see your comments, but I will go back and look at them, and I will also share my email address where you can get in contact with me for future reasons of connecting with us. But I do want to go over surplus funds and help you understand what a surplus is and how it's created. So we all understand that we all fall on rough times, okay? And especially homeowners, and especially when we're going through a pandemic. So when someone falls delinquent, let's just say they're delinquent in their mortgage payments or they're delinquent in paying their taxes. We all should know by now what happens after that. Someone's going to come to knocking or calling or mailing things to our home indicating we're delinquent on our taxes or our mortgage, right? So what happens from there is once we get notice that we're behind several payments, my husband is trying to make sure. Okay, thanks. Okay, so when we get behind on our payments, we go into a foreclosure, pre-foreclosure status. And during the pre-foreclosure, y'all, we have to understand when people are in the middle of losing their home, there's like pure chaos going on. And people get into this like, oh my gosh, they get into like a shell, like a turtle going into a shell, right? They go and they just tuck away, hoping that all of this will go away, right? And from there, they're getting phone calls from investors that want to buy their property, or they're getting phone calls from all these different creditors and indicating that they're behind on their mortgage and their taxes. So they're tired of the phone calls. They're just like, oh my gosh, I can't trust anyone. I don't, I want this to just go away. So their property goes up for foreclosure. So we got the pre-foreclosure state, and now we're going into foreclosure. So now this is indicating that now my property is about to be sold. And what comes after that is now they're going to start putting these colorful stickers on my door indicating that I have to vacate the premises. And if it's a tax sale, the sheriff is going to come to knocking, right? Sheriff is there. And if it's my mortgage company, they show in hell are blowing up my phone, right? Because they want their money. But at this point, foreclosure, they're pretty much letting you know what's about to go down. So we have to understand when we're in the surplus funds business and we're calling and helping people that they're in the midst of pure chaos. So we have to be loving and understanding and come with the right energy, because the energy that you put out, that's what you'll get back in return. So we have to make sure that we are on that frequency where we can handle someone that's going through that situation. So there was a lot that I want to tell you beforehand that I said in the last video, but I'm just going to try to refocus right now because I'm just so like, y'all don't even understand. My feathers are roughened right now that I did that whole video. And yeah, so okay. Let me. So y'all, this is what happens when the property is foreclosed. It is sold at auction. Okay. So we all know what goes on at an auction. All auctions are the same. There's a bidding war, and the property is being sold to a third party. Okay. Now, in some cases, it may not be sold to a third party. Sometimes properties can be sold back to the bank, especially a mortgage foreclosure. It can be sold back to the bank. So I'm going to go over a lot of information. So please make sure that you write this down and put any questions that you have in the comment area, because I want to be sure to go back and answer any questions that you have. Because when you leave this video tonight, when you leave this live, I want you to understand the surplus funds business. I'm going to explain it to you the best way I know how. And let me tell you, my husband and I have been doing this business for 6 years, probably more than that, longer than that, but for 6 years. And when I tell you we have overcome so much and we have learned so much just being consistent with the business, we are in a space right now where we can look back and be like, had we just gave up, had we just not, had we just decided not to do this anymore, whatever the case is, we kind of see the fruit of our labor just sticking with this. So this is a business that you have to stick with to see results. Okay, so let's go back to surplus. Okay, you got your pen and paper? All right, let's go. So when the property sells at auction, sometimes it sells for more than what is owed. Okay, so I always give this example. I've been giving this example since I started doing this business. Let's just say you owe 10,000, and we're going to say property taxes. You owe about 10,000 on your property taxes, and it sells for about 100,000. The property sells for about 100,000 at auction. The county can only hold and take what you owed. So let's do simple math. Let's subtract the 10,000 from the sale of the property. So 10,000 is what you owed. We're going to subtract that from what it was sold for. So that leaves 90,000 there, right? So that is what creates a surplus, is the overage, the excess funds, okay? So now that you have this overage, now it is your job to reach out to the claimant. Who's the claimant? The previous homeowner. The claimant could be an heir. It could be, those are the two things, the heir or the homeowner, okay? So a lot of the times, if it's the homeowner, that's who you're going to get in contact with. A lot of the times what I've seen with taxes is that grandma, grandpa passed away or mom and dad passed away. They left the home to the kids. Come on, we all know how that go. We move in and think we don't have to pay nothing. We living rent free. Woo, party, party, party. Nobody's paying the taxes. Or let's change the story up. Mom and dad pass away, grandma, grandpa, whoever you want, passes away. We take over the property, but I'm busy fighting with this cousin and that sibling, and nobody's paying the taxes on the property. So now the county gonna come in and they're gonna foreclose, okay? So sometimes you're talking to heirs, sometimes you're talking to the homeowners, okay? So that's pretty much how that goes. So with that being said, these people are due money, and a lot of the times they're trapped in that mindset of, it's a scam. Why are you calling me? I've already got 100 phone calls. And a lot of times the phone calls that they may be receiving are from those investors that were trying to purchase the property before the foreclosure and all that. So they're done with the phone calls. They're fed up. They're not trying to talk to nobody. Now you telling me I got 90,000 sitting at this county. You a scam. So y'all, that is why it's so important to build a rapport with people. You have to kind of wiggle in and become that long distant lost family member that that they can begin to trust, and you can try to explain things to them. But that is why it's so important to build a rapport with people, because you calling they don't know you from a can of paint, and you think I'm just gonna sit here and just and just believe everything that you're saying. So we always make it a point to give valid information when we're reaching out to the claimants, okay? We always want to say the address that was foreclosed on, the date that it was sold, who the homeowner's name that is on the property. If you're calling an heirs case, you want to start naming off the family members. You start calling off Aunt Lucy and Billy and Bobby, it's gonna click like, okay, she asking about Billy and Bobby, so make sure that you try to give them as much valid information that you have. And that really actually breaks the walls down of scam, 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 right? So with the surplus business, you are reaching out again. Let's go back. You are reaching out to the homeowners and heirs of the property, okay? And I'm not sure if a lot of you that are on this channel right now, if you are under a mentor, if you've purchased a course with someone, or you're just familiar with the information, or you're just someone that you want to get into this business, but you just don't quite know how to get into it, and you really want to get started. You don't know where to get your leads from. You really don't know where to start. I'm glad that you're here tonight to listen to this because I'm going to walk you through all of that. We're going to get rid of all this shoulda, coulda, wouldas, if I, it, that. We're going to get rid of all of that, okay? Because you're going to leave here tonight and you're going to make up in your mind, hey, I can do this. Just calling people to pass out money. I can do this. That's where we're going to get to tonight, okay? So we're going to go back. Now, we're reaching out to these homeowners. What I always tell our students is you never want to read from a script. You don't ever want to sound scripted. Why? Because they will catch on. They will know when you're reading a script, okay? And that annoys the snot out of them, okay? So what I try to tell my students is you have to understand what a tax foreclosure is, what a mortgage foreclosure is. So once you dissect that information and you truly understand how things go and how the process goes, then you become fluent and it just rolls off the tip of your tongue and you're able to hold a conversation with them pertaining to whatever situation it is, if it's taxes or mortgage. Okay, so let me go back and educate you really quick. A tax foreclosure is conducted by, it's a sheriff's sale. Okay, this is the county. Okay, the county foreclosed on a tax foreclosure. A mortgage, this is conducted by a trustee. Most of the time, it is the trustee, the lawyer that works for the mortgage company or whatnot. So those are the difference right there, okay? So now that you know that, you know the difference. Now let's learn more, okay? So when you're contacting them, okay, you're going to go over all the information with them. The good thing about this business is that this is a free service and you always want to let the claimant know you're not, I'm not charging you anything up front. This is a free service to you. All we ask is that we get a small percentage on the back end, but anything up front, we're not asking for that. We will take care of any upfront fees as far as the attorney and all the filing, the notary. We'll take care of all of that. We just ask for a small percentage on the back end. And a lot of times we tell our students, if you've never done negotiating or had a conversation about negotiating, we just rather you not do it. Okay. If you've never been in that territory, leave it to our back office. Our back office usually takes care of all of that. And that's what I love about our team is that I can just do what I know and what I do best. And now I can pass it on to my back office to take care of it and close it out and send out the agreement form and do all of that. I don't have to do that. Okay. So that's what makes things so easy for me. So that's what we tell our students to do, especially when they're new at this. They're just kind of getting their feet wet. They just want to, try to start making some kind of income with working this business. They want to start helping people out and whatnot. This is how we do it. So excuse me, my throat is dry. Okay. Most of the time, the claimants are not stuck on a percentage. They rarely bring it up. That's why we tell you allow our back office to go over that information because that will be in their agreement. Okay. Now, let's slow it down for a minute because you have some claimants that they're doing the math over there. Okay. Don't you dare tell them 35%. They adding it up. Because sometimes you may have to give like a slight estimate of what the surplus could be. But we tell you not to do that because there could be some judgments and liens that we may not see that needs to be verified before we can give them a definite amount. And they will hold that over your head. They will hang you by your ankles if you dare tell them you got 60,000 sitting here. They don't. We tell you do not do that. Okay. Do not do that. There's ways of handling that. If they ask the question or whatever the case is, you always allow your back office to handle those situations for you because they are doing the math. Oh, trust and believe. They know what 35% of 60,000 is. They know what 20% of 60,000 is. So you don't ever want to give them the definite amount because there may be other judgments and liens that are there that we cannot see that need to be verified. Okay. So once we get to the point where we've built a rapport with the claimant, we've, the relationship, and they're kind of like, okay, go ahead and send the information to me. I'll go ahead and sign. Yeah, I'm ready to get paid. I'm ready to get paid. Okay, so we send the agreement out. They go ahead and sign. We sign them up at 30, 35%, whatever it may be. Now we're getting the process started. But how do we verify that Jane Doe is actually that Jane Doe is Jane Doe? Now we just got Jane Doe to sign this document, but how do we verify that that's really Jane Doe? Because I can't see her over the phone, right? So we always want to get an ID. And I know that's like a uncomfortable situation for a lot of people. Like, oh, how do I ask somebody that don't know me from a can of paint? How do I ask them to text me a picture of their ID? Ooh, I think a lot of people think too deep into that. Because if that's really truly Jane Doe and she want her money, Jane Doe's gonna send her copy of her ID. Okay. And the reason for the ID, and you can always explain this to the claimant of why we're asking for ID, we have to verify that who we're speaking with is actually Jane Doe. We don't want to end up sending this money and paying this money to somebody that's not you. So it's for your protection and it's for our protection as well. And it's just to verify that you are who you are. If you say it like that, they get it. They understand. So let's not make that an uncomfortable situation for you. That is easy breezy if you explain it just like that. Okay. So now we get the ID. Now we're ready. We got our agreement signed. We got the ID. Now it's time to send the information over to the attorney. Now the attorney has the information. Now there may be some additional documents that the attorney may need the claimant to sign. And it can be a POA. It could be whatever. To whatever situation it is, they may need to get copies of death certificates or marriage certificates, whatever pops up. And whatever the attorney informs you on an update of what needs to be done, they'll send our back office the information. Then sometimes we'll send a notary out to get that signature to verify that information and get that done. So really, you just kind of like the middleman. You're just kind of like you're there for support. I told you, you're just like a family member that just came out of the blue and said, hey, you got some money. So you just got to build that relationship with them. And as updates come in, you just inform them on the updates. Shoot them a text. Call them. You ain't got to call them every day. Nobody told you to do that. Call them whenever you got an update. You don't have to call them every day. It's not like that, okay? So, y'all, this business is very lucrative, okay? And I tell people that it's not oversaturated. This is a business that you can do on top of your 9 to 5. And we have to kind of come into this in this season and stop making excuses as to why we can't do something. Because I'm going to tell you my personal testimony. When my husband and I first started in this business, I was still working at a high school. And he literally was making me like dive into, I was like watching videos on my breaks, and I was like diving into this information. He was home working the business. I was still at work. And then he finally decided to say, babe, I'm going to retire you from your 9 to 5. I need you to quit, come home, and I may have to go back out in the workforce for a little bit, but let's just keep consistent with this. Let's just continue to build our pipeline up so we both can walk away from our 9 to 5s. And that is where we are 6 years later. We have both walked away from our 9 to 5 jobs. Now, I don't suggest that to everyone to just walk away from your job. That is our testimony. That's what we did. That had to be some like serious faith. Like, oh my goodness. I don't even remember asking questions. I just like when my husband said we was gonna do this full time, and quit your job. I don't think I panicked because we were going through a pandemic. I just kind of just I think I blacked completely out and I just went with the flow. Like literally. When that pandemic came through, my husband was like, no TV unless we're learning something. So y'all, we have not watched, like literally just sat down and watched television since 2019, 2018, 2019, I want to say. So this is the same foundation that I'm trying to show y'all is that you have to just buckle down. If this is something that you really want to learn, and this is something you really want to dive in and build something, build a build generational wealth for your family, because this right here is something we can pass down to our children. Yes, we can pass this down to our children. We can teach our children this. You can teach your family this business. So stop making excuses as to why you can't do this. You can do it working a 9 to 5. You just have to structure a schedule to where you're calling people. If you're coming in late in the evening, okay, now I'm going to call people on the West Coast. If I don't go into work until later on in the evening, I can call people through all the coast. I can call people, during the day. You have to find time to make this work for you, okay? So now that I said that, now you're probably like, okay, when do I get paid? Do not have commission breath. Okay. Do not have commission breath. Always understand this is not our money. This is the claimant's money. We're just assisting them. And we're going to collect that small percentage that agreed upon the percentage that we're going to charge on the back end. That's how we get paid. Okay. But don't have commission breath through this whole process. Okay. We want to make sure the claimant gets paid first. Okay. Before everyone else is paid. So a lot of the times people ask, how long does this typically, how long is the process? Are they waiting 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, 120 days? It all depends. With tax foreclosures, they do have to go through a court proceeding. So yes, it can be a little lengthier time, but don't let that don't let that discourage you. You just have to know how to explain it to the claimant. Okay? Tax court proceeding. Do they need to be there? No, they do not have to be there. Okay. Mortgage is a little, my husband gets me when I say it's a little easier, but it does not have to go through a court proceeding. Okay. So the mortgages kind of pay out quicker than the tax, but it still has to go through a process at the same time. So now we got it going. We're waiting 30, 60 days. We're waiting for the attorney to give us some updates. Once we get an update, we inform our claimant, we update them. We just hold their hand through the process. We're continue to follow up with them. Now it's payday. The claimant is going to get paid first. Now, through our program that we have with Loyalty Royalty, we do have a JV joint venture program where we are doing a 65. Okay, we are doing a 65-35 split. So our students are getting paid out 35% on these leads. And that's kind of good. That is kind of good. I know when we first started in this and we got our mentor, our percentage was not that high. And I was, let me leave that alone. But I was like, good grief, I can't wait until we really take off in this business, I'm leaving too much money on the table. But anywho, yes, it is a 35% joint venture split. So you're probably asking, how do we get these leads? How do we get our hands on leads? We do have a program where we do provide leads to our students, okay? So you will get leads. We have nothing but leads over here. We are overwhelmed with leads. Leads are pouring all out of our ears, all off the computer screen. We have leads up the wazoo. We just need more people that really want to learn this business, get their feet wet, and really try to, help people, because we can't make all these phone calls. We can't trace all these people. It's impossible. But if we have a team And we talked about that today. I was talking to a good friend of mine. She got $1 billion business. She just said, I need a team, you know? And that's how it is. If we can have a team, we can make the billion together. So she sold me on that. I was like, how can I be a part of your team? Because I want to be a part of your $1 billion idea you got going on over here. It's the same thing with this. We want you to come over here and be a part of a great team so we can all learn, support each other, and grow with each other. And that is how these Fortune 500 companies are built. We have to learn how to just trust each other, work with each other, and build something that's bigger than ourselves at this point. So I'm going to leave information. I'm going to come back after I end this video. I'm going to leave information on the YouTube channel, how you can get in contact with us, how you can become a part of our mentorship program. It is very easy. We are waiting for you. We just need you just to let down your guards. We need you to just take that fear away and to say and make up in your mind today, you know what? I'm going to give this a try. I can't do nothing. I can't fail at this. I'm only going to learn. I can't fail at doing this at all. You're telling me I got a whole team of mentors that's going to help me through this process. They're going to walk me. They're going to hold my hand through this process. And you tell me how many companies are out there doing that. Tell me. I don't think it is really too many companies. I don't think anybody holding hands out there. Because I know all the companies I work for, they train you up for 2 weeks and then they just throw you to the dogs, right? They just throw you to the dogs and you just hope and pray you don't mess up. And sometimes you do mess up and you don't make it third month and they ready to fire you because they only gave you 2 weeks of training. Don't get me started. Do not get me started about no 9 to 5. I can't. Bad taste in my mouth, okay? But anyway, we do have leads. We are ready to teach you. We're ready to train you. We're ready to hold your hand and assist you with diving into the surplus funds business. If there's any information that I left out, charge it to my head and not my heart. I just was trying to get so much of this information out to y'all. This was something that my husband and I, we promised each other. We promised the people that came into our life that we would just teach. One of our mentors, Rick the Wealth Coach, he's on YouTube as well. I remember us having a 20-minute consultation with him. And he said, why are y'all not teaching this? And ever since we've been teaching, we just been pouring into other people. And I'm just really grateful for our mentors that took us underneath their wing to show us this business and to be there for us when we needed to close deals or to look over information to tell us ain't no surplus there, or oh, it's only 20,000 there, or here you go, here's the agreement, let's get this agreement together. Oh, I got an attorney in Delaware, I got an attorney in California, I got an attorney in Florida. Gosh, to have that love and support from our mentors, now business partners, is amazing. So you have to start somewhere to get where you want to go, okay? So I hope that this video has been of a huge help for you just to understand the foreclosure, the tax foreclosure, and the mortgage foreclosure process. I get tongue-tied when I say that. So you can understand the process. Again, I'm going to leave my email address, L as in loyalty, R as in royalty, R as in recovery. So you have LRR.assetrecovery@gmail.com. Honey, if you're watching this YouTube channel, can you drop it in the comment area so they can have our email address? Shoot us an email. We would love to hear from you and see where we can help you get started, okay? So that is all that I have for you. I hope that you can hear me because, y'all, when I tell you I did the first video and I had so much bubbly energy, I had so many great jokes. Oh my gosh, Steve Harvey would be so proud of me. I had so many great jokes and y'all didn't even hear me. Y'all couldn't even hear him to laugh at what I was saying, but it's okay. It's okay. It's really okay. All right, so y'all go out and have a beautiful week. Smile, love people, talk to people, get to know people, dive more into this information. If you're watching this YouTube channel, go watch the other YouTube channels. There's so many people on YouTube that are teaching this. Let me tell you, when we first started, I told my husband, you can't go buy no course. We're not buying a course. You're going to sit up and burn the midnight oil, and you're going to go to each channel, and you're going to learn, and you're going to piece this together. And that's exactly what he did, you know? So y'all, I'm telling you, he was so determined to learn this business. And now I sit back and I watch him in the office and he's just, oh my God, he's just so fluent. It's almost like listening to him speak a foreign language. He just, his conversations with our mentors and with our coaches and our business partners, I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm so proud of you. I look back 6 years ago and we were not even there. We was learning. We didn't know any of this. So we want to pour this into you. And I hope that you take this serious and that you reach out to us because this is your season to win. This is your season to learn something new. Let's try to get away from these 9 to 5s. And we understand that you have to hold on to your 9 to 5 before you can even, really just dive into this business. You have to hold on to what you have. But let's make a goal to try to get away from that of working for other people and making other people rich. And it's time to make our own selves rich so we can leave something for our children's children, right? All right, I'm Karen Michelle, Loyalty Royalty Recovery. I'm your surplus chameleon, and I'll catch y'all on the next video. Peace and love. Bye.